All right. Who's too high? Yikes. Who's too high? Who's
Sorry,
too low?
run it back.
And who's just right? Pete's Power Rankings. We're going to get to the top 10 here. Read them off. Bottom 5, as we always do. At number 1, Kansas City Chiefs. No movement there. As they've been number 1 since preseason. Do you have number 1 preseason? Yeah. They've been number 1 since preseason, but I don't think anyone thinks though that they are.
Oh, I do.
Neutral field.
Oh, I do.
You would pick them over the Lions. You'd pick them over the Ravens.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
it's so easy to just discount them.
And I am. That's what I'm doing.
I am too. I'll go first. Too high, Kansas City Chiefs at number 1.
Crazy.
If we're doing power rank,
the top 10. Lions 2, Ravens 3, Vikings 4, Packers 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 NFC North teams in the top 5. Buffalo Bills 6, Houston Texans 7, Chicago Bears 8, Commanders 9, Steelers 10. Flip side of the coin, bottom 5 here.
In that top 10, by the way.
Garbage?
No, not teams that aren't.
Fool's gold.
Probably, yes. Probably better off.
Bottom 5, the Tennessee Titans at 28, Miami Dolphins at 29, Cleveland Browns at 30, which I'll debate with Jameson there. New England Patriots at 31, and the Carolina Panthers at 32. So you go ahead, Kyle. Who's too high?
Too high. Kansas City Chiefs. And I know I'm a former Chief. I'm buddies with a lot of these guys. And I think part of this is me just understanding that at this point in the season, the Detroit football Lions are doing things offensively that I don't think anybody can match, keep up with. And I know they lost Aiden Hutchinson, but I think that defense is still going to do a great job. And it all comes down to scoring points. For the Kansas City Chiefs, I just think right now they are in a spot where they are waiting for the cavalry to arrive, the reinforcements to arrive. Yes, they're good enough to win these games, and they can beat San Francisco on the road, and they can be that amoeba-like team that finds a way to play really good defense, run the football effectively, and Patrick Mahomes can run it in the gun on 4th and goal. But at the end of the day, I think if you took that team and played the Detroit Lions right now, I'm not saying at the end of the year that the Chiefs aren't going to be in position to three-peat because I picked them to do so at the beginning of the year. But right now, I think the Detroit Lions are the best team in football. Therefore, Kansas City Chiefs are too high at number 1.
I worry about the Lions defense in a big way. And so I worry more about the Lions defense than I do about the Chiefs offense. And so from that, you have to be able to rush the passer. Now, if they go make a deal to go get Max Crosby, then I'll say, okay, fine. I get
that
it.
would be just.
But not having a pass rusher. They had nobody on the roster who had a sack from the defensive end position last week.
Sam Darnold went through his progression twice one time.
It was unblocked, but Pascal
I'm saying going into the game.
Oh, going into the game. Okay, sorry.
So they don't have any pass rush, and you have to be able to rush the passer, influence a quarterback in this league.
They can get pass rush on the interior. And
McNeil
with Elaine McNeil, DJ Reader, they can push the pocket. But I agree, their edge rush now, without Marcus Davenport, without Aiden Hutchinson, is one of the worst in the NFL. It just is. There's no
and they were giving up a lot of big plays in the passing game to begin with, without the pass rush. So that's why I put the Chiefs at number 1. I think the Lions defense and the Ravens defense worry me more than the Chiefs offense.
Hey, look, I'm going to get killed for saying that. And the Chiefs are undefeated. No shit, they're the number 1 team in the National Football League. They're back-to-back Super Bowl champions. But for the sake of power rankings, right now, I just don't see a team better than the Detroit Lions right now, and the Baltimore Ravens after last night. To be honest,
you're a prisoner of the moment.
All right, my team that's too high. Philadelphia Eagles. You have them at number 11, just outside the top 10, ahead of the likes of the Seahawks, the Bucks, who just beat them a few weeks prior. I get that they're 4-2, but I just watched this offense, and they ran the football this past week, but they cannot pass. The passing game has serious issues. No Jordan Mailata for a while at left tackle. I think will rear its ugly head.
That's tough.
In the weeks to come. I just don't think this team is all that good when they face a real team. Let's just say, like when they're this upcoming weekend against the Bengals, I think the Bengals will.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. The Giants went to Seattle and beat that Seattle team a week ago.
But then Andrew Thomas was hurt.
Yeah, but they went to.
I know. I thought they matched up better with
But you can't put them ahead of the Eagles.
I think you could put the Bucks ahead of the Eagles at this point. They just killed them a few weeks back.
I think those poor Bucks are.
But at this point,
the Bucks might be lower than.
That's also true. So I just think the Eagles at this point.
I don't love the Eagles either, but they deserve to be in that spot.
All right. I don't know. I disagree. Disagree.
The Giants beat Seattle at Seattle 2 weeks ago.
But you have them ahead of the Bucks and the Falcons, who both those teams beat the Eagles already. So
that was a fluke a couple weeks ago.
All right. That's just my thought. All right, who's too low for you?
Too low, the Bengals. They need to be flipped with New Orleans. I mean, look, I know that this Bengals team has been a real letdown for everybody at the beginning of the season. That's kind of the way they roll, but we're leaking into the middle of the season right now, and the Bengals are still struggling. But I do trust this offense with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and you've got them just below the New Orleans Saints, who I think are on a historical fall from grace. So scroll up a little bit, Harry. So 23 is the Bengals. Look who's 22. The Saints. More like the Aints. Let's get the Aints out of there. Let's get the Aints to 23. Maybe the Bengals to 22. I know Orlando Brown just went down, the left tackle, but he gave the thumbs up. He's going to be all right. He'll be back out there. So I expect this Bengals team to win some football games. They got a big one against the Eagles coming up. This team has the opportunity to right the ship, but I think that a little too low for the Bengals.
Yeah.
That's who I had as well. I had them too low at 23.
Well, how high would you have them?
Let's see. So the teams in front of them: Saints, Jets, Chargers, Cardinals, Colts. I'm jumping them over all of those teams.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I think I would just neutral field. I'm taking Bengals against all of those teams right now.
Yeah, Chargers is debatable, and when they're healthy. I mean, again, it all comes down to health.
And who's playing quarterback for the Colts when they play?
Yeah, that's also.
If it's Joe Flacco, you take the Colts.
I love Joe Flacco, dude.
All right, who's your just right?
My just right is the Chicago Bears. And I believe they're at number 9 or they're at 8 here. I think it's a great spot. This is a complete football team, and they're getting better and better every week. Obviously, we've talked about it. And after the bye week, they did some self-scouting, I'm sure. They're going into a huge matchup against the number 9 team, the Washington Commanders. And I think with or without this quarterback Jaden Daniels, the matchup is going to be tough either way because we saw Mariota out there last week. But for the Bears, I think they're doing a really good job playing defense. Caleb Williams is coming along. Shane Waldron has answered a lot of the questions that we had about him early in the season, and they found ways to maximize the guys that they have on their offense. DeAndre Swift's coming along. The offensive line has hit their stride. You gave them some love last week. I think 8's a really good spot for the Bears. Coming into the season, had you told me they've been at the power ranking spot 8, I've been really happy after this week. So looking forward to this week against the Commanders.
And I would have told myself I was nuts because I didn't think they would be as good as they are right now in this spot this early.
And they're not fool's gold.
No, they have that defense is really good.
Yep.
I mean, they can play on that side of the ball. And Caleb Williams is getting better and better, and they've run the ball. That's the thing. They hadn't run the ball. And
I'm going to play devil's advocate there. They're way too high.
Ooh.
They haven't beaten a team.
Yep. That's also true.
Ranked higher than 24th in Pete's Power Rankings right now.
That's also
They've
true.
beaten the Rams, the Titans,
and they
the
went
Panthers,
toe-to-toe with the Texans.
and the Jaguars.
They went toe-to-toe with the Texans.
In Houston.
On the road.
With Nico Collins.
Right. They went toe-to-toe with them.
Just saying. IJS. That means I'm just saying.
Colts.
Huh?
Also lost to the Colts.
Yeah, well, that's tough.
And they really should have lost to those Titans. I'm just saying they haven't played anyone worth a darn.
No.
So we'll see
We'll
this
know more
weekend.
about
With
it.
the
But can you agree that their defense is good?
Defense is good, yeah.
And their offense is getting better every week?
We'll just see more when they play.
Okay, buddy. That's like we're in a good spot now.
Right.
Just say for the 8th team. I'd expect a little
There's
bit
some
more.
crappy teams right now.
Yeah, there really is.
It's true. But they've had a crappy schedule.
Okay, but we're okay. The Commanders, would you put them ahead of them? Maybe.
No.
Yeah. I'd put the Commanders ahead of
No.
them. With Jaden Daniels healthy, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, then who else would you put ahead of them?
I think the Steelers are a very similar team.
Stop.
No, they're better than Steelers.
I think
They throw that little moon ball
Bucs were
up to
healthy, I
George
keep talking
Pickens
about
against the Bears. That's 3 turnovers.
I keep talking about the Bucs as if they had
balls.
Mike Evans and Chris
Russell
Godwin.
Wilson's back. He threw moon balls.
Here he goes with the moon ball.
50-50 balls. I mean, that's like anybody could do that.
I'm just saying.
I
would
love
put them
devil's
ahead. I would put
advocate.
them ahead of the Chicago Bears right now. All right. My last one for ranked just right. Indianapolis Colts at number 18.
Yep.
Because they're 4-3. People would think, 4-3 team, they should be ranked ahead of the teams that they have a better record than. They're not. They're just, this is an average football team. And I think we're going to see it very, very quickly here because their schedule turns into an absolute house. They go to Houston, to Minnesota, against the Bills, against the Jets, in New York against the Jets, and then against the Lions their next 5 games. They could lose 5 straight, and no one would blink an eye.
I think that might be one of the worst 4-3 teams I've ever seen.
They're just
and then we're going to be talking about that big B word, that big bust word. And
we're not.
It's been whispered. It has been whispered.
You're an early whisperer.
I am curious if the next 2 weeks we see, the same stat line: 10 completions, 25 attempts. The Anthony Richardson special that we've seen all year, which just like nothing working. missing throws left and right. Do they bench him heading into like a Bills game?
No
it's
way.
like, or gotta have it at that point.
No way. You got to find out. You got to play it out.
Got to play him.
Hey, here's the other thing. Here's what he needs to do. Go back in the pocket and throw moon balls because it resurrects your career. I mean, moon balls.
As high
how many times do we hear that?
We saw Flacco throw a moon ball to Pittman in the end zone last week, and it worked 2 weeks ago.
They do have the talent, though. That's really, that offense should just be.
Pittman can go get moon balls.
Pittman, Adonai, Pierce.
They can go get moon balls. Go get moon balls.
And then you got the guy underneath.
I mean, have we ever seen a guy who throws 2 pop-ups that the receiver makes plays on, and all of a sudden he's back?
Little league fly ball practice, what it looked like. Johnny,
I'm back. Russ is back. He's cooking.
Hey, you know what? Russ did some things in the game that showed me he's still got a little bit of juice. I'm happy to see that. He was able to move and maneuver from the pocket when some pressure
came. For a quarter and a half, he looked like he was.
He did, but that's his first game action all year. Everybody else has been playing the whole year.
He also was playing against a defense that was depleted in the secondary. He was also playing at home. He got a point-blank touchdown.
But we got to give him some credit.
He was okay. He was okay.
You saw the way Najee and George Pickens were all over him on the sideline. They love that stuff. You know, they got some hope there.
They haven't found out that what the rest of his teammates used to think about.
Oh.